get up and get our acceleration. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the all-new Honda CR-V EX. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with this CR-V. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for John. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 190 horsepower and then 179 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's kind of hard to see because this particular CR-V is white, but you've got these like divots there on either side. And then coming down below, you've got these really distinctive daytime running lights. Notice the chrome trim kind of goes through the headlight itself, which is cool. And then you've got the LED headlights as well. Notice you've got some blacked out trim down below. The whole grille is blacked out with the Honda logo in the center. And then notice it's also blacked out at the bottom. But putting it all together, I love the new CR-V front end. I think it looks great. Coming around the side here, tire and wheel setup is 235/60/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheel design how it's silver. I think it looks pretty good. Now notice the bodywork from the front matches the fender flares here, and that continues all along the side. We've got the body painted mirrors here, door handles, and then the chrome trim around the windows as well. And then you guys can see the roof rack system at the top. And putting it all together, the side view of the CR-V definitely has a very sporty, distinctive appearance. Here's our key fob for the CR-V. We've got our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, the opening here for the hatch, well actually the unlock for the hatch, and then the Honda logo there on the back. Now popping inside, you guys can see that the storage area here in the back is actually quite large here at the CR-V. We also have a little 12 volt here in the back as well. And then we have this like weird tray mat that we can lift up, and you got the spare tire underneath. And so yeah, really low loading floor, and so like there's quite a bit of like vertical room and then horizontal room, like it's great. And when you're all done, just clap. Now I've got the CR-V's new taillights, which I think are very distinctive. They kind of remind me of Volvo's taillights actually. And then notice how the badges here on the back are blacked out as well. And putting it all together, I do like the style here with the new CR-V. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, you guys can see the trim here at the top, and then look at the padding down below, and decent storage there at the bottom. And then here are the seats in the rear. You guys can see the lighter colored cloth that goes down the center. Now it's kind of like black there on the side. Legroom here in the back is actually really solid. Now it's got a little storage pocket right there. We've got some vents here in the center as well. And then headroom back here is also really good. And would you look at this? Cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see again with the darker trim, and then look at the padding all down below. We've got all of our window controls, front two are automatic. You got your mirror adjustments as well, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then with the front seat, you guys can see how it's lighter colored in the center portion and then darker on the sides. And then we do have our power adjustments here on the side as well. We've got our stability control function here, and then you guys can see the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel itself, pretty base with the material use around the outside, but we've got some nice controls. So we have our adaptive cruise control. We also have our lane centering assist. We got some controls for the center stack, volume controls, you know, the normal stuff. And then we have our turn signal light stock, and then our windshield wiper stock. And then popping in the center, you guys can see here at the gauge cluster, first off, I can scroll through some different menus here. So you guys can see like the fuel economy, and then we've got a bunch of different items that we can go through. So like you can see pretty much everything you want on the vehicle. And then we have some different drive modes too. So we got a normal, econ, and then a snow mode that we can go into, and it gives us a cool graphic for each. So we got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and you know, I'd say that resolution's pretty solid. As for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, we've got analog controls here on either side for like the volume and then changing the station. Then we got some shortcut buttons here at the bottom. This is Honda's like base unit. So basically the main thing is like it functions as a radio, but it's still pretty good. We have our Honda Mega Vent here at the bottom is what I like calling it. And you guys can see like the black trim below that, which is also pretty cool. And the dash itself is also soft touch. We've got dual zone climate controls. We have heated seats here in the front as well. And then we have our charging area just down below with quite a bit of storage space. Here's our shifter for that CVT. It's got an S mode, which is like your sport mode, and then your L, which will basically keep you at higher RPM. So like if you need to engine brake down a, you know, steep grade or something like that, that'll help out there. Drive mode select, your auto stop start, hill descent control, parking brake, brake hold, and then we got some cup holders here with the center console. And yeah, decent storage inside. I almost forgot. Glove box. And then up top we do have a manual mirror dimmer here. You got the control for the sunroof. So there's quite a bit of glare, so it's kind of hard to see, but anyways, this is an EX all-wheel drive. 33,110 is the base MSRP. After all options, which the main option is paint and then destination, 34,800 is the total MSRP on this one. And let's see how it drives. We'll talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do a blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And well, let us see how the CR-V performs. And I really like this EX package because I feel like this is the value package with the CR-V. You know, mid-30s for the price, and you know, has dual zone climate. It's got heated seats. Obviously it doesn't have a nicer, you know, upgraded leather seats that you can get in like an EXL, but I still think this is I feel like this is a nice feeling interior. Again, especially considering this is supposed to ultimately be an economy car. That's something that I think people have to remember about stuff like the CR-V. But getting up and moving, a pretty solid torque out of that powertrain right off the bat. We got a car salesman jaywalking. Yeah, it moves. It's solid. Suspension's pretty comfortable as well. Yeah, going to the stuff is really good. The thing that shocks me is I just drove a Civic before this, and that new Civic has such good suspension because that was probably the most comfortable Honda I've driven. It's interesting because it's the Civic, right? It's supposed to be the cheap one, right? But anyways, pop into the S mode, so it'll get more aggressive with everything. I will say the steering wheel doesn't bother me like I thought it would. Again, this is more of like baseline material use with the steering wheel, but it feels fine. Yeah, really good torque, and again, that's just partial throttle. It's one thing I love about this turbocharged engine, especially here at high elevation, is it helps the CR-V get up and move at a very solid pace. And what time is it? 3:31. Yeah, we're gonna start running into a little bit of traffic with these videos, but looks like we got a little bit of an opening here, so we'll get up and get our acceleration. Yeah, pretty solid. I mean, it moves. It gets up and moves. It's no rocket ship by any means, but it moves at a pretty decent pace. And so, yeah, summing things up here at the CR-V, I also want to talk about the seats. These cloth seats are actually pretty comfortable for cloth seats. Do they have lumbar adjustment? Yeah, it's got lumbar too. Cool. Yeah, so it's got everything you need. So yeah, they're pretty comfortable for cloth seats. The bolsters though at the top are pretty tight. They're not huge, so it's not a huge problem, but they are tighter. So that is something to note. Yeah, I love how smooth this is. Drives great. I like how it looks. I like how it drives. I think Honda's done a really good job. Obviously, this is not insanely sporty. I think that's the one thing that, you know, I've heard some people make comments on, but again, it's a CR-V. This is supposed to be like a just reliable, fuel-efficient crossover. And, you know, it accomplishes that. It's comfortable. It gets good fuel economy for the size. And so, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about the CR-V.